Hey guys, this is Camfrey15, joined by my co-host, the Red Wolf, and we are back at it yet again with another Eden Zero episode review for you guys. Now, listen, I know this video is probably a week late, but this whole scheduling thing of where we're gonna put our Eden Zero, it's kind of just up in the air, to be honest. It's like I call him and I'm like, "Hey, you want to do Eden Zero review today?" Sure.
Yeah,
No.
I thought you were going to comment on an earlier date, but turns out no.
Yeah, I have class on Thursday, so it ruins the Eden Zero Thursday mood. So maybe a Eden Zero Monday or maybe Wednesday, or well, not Friday because Friday is relegated to Dragon Quest. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, either Monday or Wednesday. Expect Eden Zero episode reviews till we catch up to the current amount of episodes are listed there. So yeah, I guess Eden Zero's Monday and Wednesdays potentially because listen, I gotta save my Saturdays for My Dress Up Darling. I'm sorry, that show's goated. And it's only 3 episodes in. Anyways, we're back and episode 9 kind of takes more of a darker, more I guess you can say a darker slash more disturbing tone. Um, this episode's obviously titled Guilst for a reason, and we're introduced to planet Guilst and introduced to a few new characters, and even one disturbing one. But let's get to it. So obviously, we know from last episode that Rebecca was captured, and she was taken to planet Guilst, and Shiki was going after her. Anyways, we pick up where we last left off in terms of Rebecca, and Rebecca finally wakes up after, I guess, getting clonked out, and she's essentially tied up with a bunch of other girls who she knows as other different B-cubers, some of them that are pretty damn famous. Now they end up the guys that capture them show up, and we find out their mercenary group name is called Rogue Out. Now their members are Geoff, who is a pervert, I guess you can say, who was trying to touch all over Rebecca. Moscow, and the guy who Shiki fought in the last episode, Jin. All I can say is Jin, from what we all know, especially later on, he's the one that has the most honor out of the bunch. Although Moscow's the funniest one of the bunch.
What?
Yes. Now, as Geoff's kind of patronizing them and telling them, shut up, he says that they're going to be sold off to this guy named Laliga. And we'll get to him real soon. Now, there's this one twin-tailed girl that is crying up a storm. And Geoff is like, you need to shut up, otherwise I'll make you shut up. And it looks like he's going to punch her. Again, these animes, when it comes to despicable males, actually punching girls.
They don't hold back. They don't hold back.
Rebecca gets in the way of that. And what happens to good old Rebecca?
She sticks up for her, but she ends up getting tased because apparently the ropes are like electrified.
Yeah, and let's just say while she was getting I guess electrocuted or whatever effect she was feeling, she was in a certain position. I'm just gonna leave that to your imagination, what I'm talking about, if you know certain positions and a certain exercise that I won't get into. So hey, just leave that to your own imagination, not me. Anyways, they essentially go off, and he's like, listen, or Geoff's like, are you gonna be quiet now? Listen, just to let you know, you better behave and you better be quiet. Otherwise, you will get in trouble. So they leave, but actually it's really Jin that stops him from essentially torturing Rebecca any further. So we see that Jin's obviously the most honorable one and everything. Now, After they leave, all the other beekeepers start complimenting Rebecca for standing up to the big bad guys and everything. And we find out some of the other beekeepers. One's named Couchpot, which was funny because Guilst's like, we're only supposed to bring pretty girls up in here. Why you bring this one girl up in here? And it's pointing out at this one fat girl named Couchpot. And what does Moscow say?
She is cute. to, to each their own, I guess.
Hey, listen, if you're into the fat ones, hey, I'm not gonna judge. Listen, I won't judge you how you look, what your size is, or anything. I have my type, and some people have their type. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Fair enough?
I'm neutral.
Okay. The one girl that was crying is named Copa. Also, too, one of the girls, for some reason, her voice actor was Tia Ballard again. So Tia Ballard just voiced acted some fodder girl character, or some just random beekeeper. So yeah. So we'll see this, I believe, in the next episode. But there's supposed to be the tease to Mira Jane and Lazana with this group of girls.
I don't think we should say that yet, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, what is Rebecca telling these girls?
That she hasn't given up, and they need to find a way out of here.
Yes, but obviously there's always one girl or one Debbie Down or one Mr. or Mrs. Negative that's like, there's no hope. Typically, I'm Mr. Negative, so.
Mm-hmm. And that's.
Go ahead.
I can definitely see that.
Yes. Now, this girl's name is named. This girl's name is Milan. And she's a pretty famous beekeeper. Honestly, her design, now looking at it now, looks like a pre-time skip what's her name? Bisca. Or actually, no. Back in that one fairy tale episode when Urza and Bisca first met each other.
That's that's what she looks like.
Yeah. So yeah. Now, Rebecca's trying to tell this girl, or trying to tell everybody, listen, if we work together, we can get out of here. And then they'll reach planet Guilst, and then all that hope will go out the drain. So, yeah.
Yeah, when they meet face to face with the...
We'll get into that soon. Anyways, we cover the Shiki side of things, and which goes on to say that Guilst actually used to be a tourist destination, but then it turned into, I guess you can say, the planet where all crime is, well, not outlawed. In other words, it's Purge City.
Basically.
Then, also too, on the update of Happy, she can't heal Happy because they need who to heal Happy?
Sister, one of the three shining stars.
Yes, and essentially, which goes on to make a mention of the fact that all the shining stars each play a function in operating the Eden Zero. She says, which is the shield, which, well, is defense, obviously, so she protects the ship. Do you remember what Sister was?
She's basically the healer.
Yes. Her title is, she's the life of the Eden Zero. Valkyrie is the sword, which, in other words, she attacks. Essentially, she's the attacker. And Hermit is the mind of the Eden Zero. So, yeah. That's the whole thing. Now, we find out Pino's reason why Ziggy created her was the fact that she's supposed to be the successor to the Shining Stars. And she is the light of the Eden Zero. I'm guessing that's going to be paid off at a later point in time. That's my only guess.
I guess so.
So yeah. Now, what happens is, who do we see return to the ship?
Uh, Mr. Professor Thief, aka Weiss.
Yes, alongside a new girl
Mm-hmm.
named Homura. Oh, did I take
Mm-hmm.
the words out your mouth?
No, I was just prepping.
Oh, and Homura, in her Homura, the more I look at it now, the more I did fairy tale replications. Homura, from what I found out, is essentially the carbon copy of the fairy tale girl Kagura. So, makes sense, especially with what we know about her ether gear and everything. So, yeah, they look honest to God identical. So, at first I called Homura the Wendy clone, but then I realized she doesn't really truly look like Wendy. And then that's when I saw somebody do a fairy tale Eden Zero comparison video, and people compared Homura to Kagura, which I'm cool with. Kagura is a nice character, and she's not really that important. But hey, her clone is a semi-important character. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially in the future arc, which I won't get into.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, since we watched the English dub for our English dub viewers, we'll give you the voice actress name who plays Homura, and her name is Laura Stayhill. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her last name right, but yeah. Some other roles she's done in the past, in Pokemon Evolutions, which is the short stuff you can watch on the Pokemon channel. She voice acted Zinnia. Other big known animes, I guess I haven't seen Shaman King, but she's this character named Tao Ren. She's a character from Vivi named Tatsuya Saeki, the young version of him. She guest voices a character in Beyblade. Yes, I don't watch Beyblade. She voices a character in Yashahime named Hiko Maru, which I probably shouldn't. You probably shouldn't say anything for spoilers.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't say anything.
Yeah. But I think I have a feeling who that could be. I'm just gonna keep that to myself. And wait till I watch the series. She's in another anime called The Misfit of Demon King Academy. I watched a little bit of it. I gotta get back to watching that. Named Sheila Nijim. She's a voice actress in Rent a Girlfriend, known as one of the most hated girls in that show, Mommy. Yeah.
Yet, I keep hearing that Mommy's still getting love from people.
Don't ask me. She also voice acts Aruma from the show Welcome to a Demon School, Aruma-kun. I have to continue watching that. I only seen one episode of that. It seemed interesting. She also voices a character in Fate Grand Order, Absolute Demonic Front, Babylonia, called Ushi Wakamaru.
She's waifu! She's waifu! She's waifu! She's waifu!
Okay. Wow. Okay. In Isekai, she voices Mueller from Isekai Cheat Magician. She voices a character, Naive T-Cell from Cells at Work. And other than that, that's kind of some of her main important roles. She's in Sword Art Online Alternative, Gun Gale Online as Clarence. I think I remember that. She's in Seven Deadly Sin, Revival of the Commandments as Gerhade, if anybody knows that. I guess she voiced acted another character in this thing called Fate Extra Last Encore as Leo B. Harway. And I think that's truly it. She's in Hunter x Hunter, I guess in one of the movies and stuff like that. So oh yeah, she is in Hunter x Hunter. Spinner Clo and Kite, the Chimera Ant version of him. So does a lot of important roles.
Well, We know what happened to Kite now, don't we?
Yeah. That's a lot of important roles. I think she does a good job with Homura. I like it. And Homura is a pretty quirky girl. What is her quirkiness trait that's to her?
Unintentionally saying stuff out loud.
Yes, that she's thinking. Which it leads to very funny comedic moments of like where she's like, "Damn it, I said that out loud and they heard me."
Now he's judging me for my appearance. He really is a creep.
Listen, Homura is definitely the most funny character in Eden Zero. Would you agree?
She's up there.
So anyways, what is the reason why Homura is tagging along?
She wants to fight the Demon King.
Yes, because of her master, who we find out later, has ties to the Demon King. She thinks Shiki's the Demon King, but Shiki's like, well, yeah, I'm the current one, but listen, I don't have time to fight. I'd just say my friend, which Homura says to Weiss in the flashback, if you take me along with you, I will go save your friend and stuff like that. So yeah, now Homura reveals her ether gear. She just shows that she has ether gear, and which is like, wait, that ether gear seems very familiar. Wait a second, I know that. Which it will be explained later on. So yes. Anyways, we get over back to Rebecca's side of things, and they essentially enter planet Guilst, and they get all out after being tied up. And what is the first thing they see? All the girls see?
An ugly frog.
Well, before they get into the cage, that makes them lose all heart.
Oh yeah, that there was a girl walking around like she it's hard to explain what happened to her, but she's basically dead.
Yeah, I think didn't she actually die in front of all of them?
Basically.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, Guilst, the leader of Rogue Out, I'm guessing, is like, listen, you see her? Yeah, she must have escaped or something, but you see, this planet was probably too much for her, so that's why she's probably dead now. Also, so just to let you know, whatever Laliga says, you do. So if he tells you to raise your little ass, then you better raise it. I'm like, what? Okay. And he just had to be touching Rebecca like that with his head like. So, yeah. It was obviously discussed, and then continue on with after they're in the one area where they're locked up. Who then shows up?
Then the little ugly frog fellow appears.
Yes, that is Laliga. Probably, he doesn't do much in the grand scheme of this story, but my God, do I hate this guy. Would you agree? Yeah. He doesn't give me similar vibes to, say, Asugo, but just the personality of doing harm to these girls. It's like, yeah. So what essentially is the reasoning why he brought these B-Cuber girls?
Apparently, it's not because he's a fan of them, but he wants to transform them into furniture, apparently.
And what does he mean by furniture?
He literally transforms their bodies into cemental kind of material and freezes them there, and voila, you have a chair, basically.
Yeah, which he literally calls this one girl who is in the nude saying, I have a family, please, I'll do anything. I'm like how far are we talking? You'll do anything? Like, you'll just do something that to keep myself, and this is what I use in my World's End harem, to not specify the S word, but I'm like, are you talking about like you do the dirty with this nasty frog if it's just not do what you're doing or thing? Now she thinks she's gonna die, but yes, essentially Laliga turns these women into bicarbonate, something out of Star Wars, like they did to Han Solo in episode 5, when they turned him to essentially bicarbonate statue in stone. And he literally calls them furniture and he literally says in the same scene, he's like, whoa, that's a nice new chair I got there. So, listen, I know, like, they could have, I'll say this, props to Mashima, he could have taken this some sort of weird, nasty, doing the dirty type of thing, because typically that's kind of sometimes what they do. They have a whole arc where these bunch of girls are captured and everything. You have this very perverted character who is, I'm going to force you to do the dirty with me, whether you like it or not, and stuff like that. But here it's, you know, it's not like that, but it's still kind of disturbing and kind of messed up, because essentially that means this character treats women like just objects, essentially, but literally he means them as objects, because that's what furniture is. It's objects. And just the fact, like, doesn't he like sit on that same girl, like I think in an episode or two later?
I think so. I think I remember that.
Yeah, and it's kind of messed up. So this scares the bejesus out of everybody, all the girls. And there's this weird bubbly substance that is obviously your typical erasing or disintegrating clothes method, because it isn't a fan service anime without some sort of disintegration method of clothes to see girls in the nude. Although I wish Rebecca would not cover up. I know, I can't help myself. I'll just go watch High School DxD.
He just can't handle himself, guys. These
anime girls are too damn hot. Good God. Anyways, that's what happens there, and Rebecca's like, we need to find a way to get up out of here, which we'll see what somewhat happens in next week. Now we cut over to Chiki's group as the episode's ending off. We find out Weiss actually repaired Happy. Happy's just not turning on. His functioning's not working because he got beat the hell out of. Also, too, we find out some more information, which again, like I said earlier in like an early episode review, I love the world building of Eden Zero, which is 10 times better than Fairy Tail. 10 times better. They explain the fact that, well, like we already know that it used to be a tourist destination, but the city is actually built on a tree made of wood ether, which is pretty dope, if you ask me. It reminds me to a few animes I watch where they actually have cities within the trees, which is pretty cool. I can't recall some animes, but there are some animes out there that are like that. I know in Pokemon X, the video game, a gym is literally made out of a tree. So, you know, that's a thing. We also do find out that this same tree damn near extends to outside the atmosphere of freaking planet Guilst. Now, don't explain to me how it's getting sun, to say the least, but it's space and it's an anime, so who cares? Anyways, what happens is they find the base of Rogal.
Yeah.
And what happens to the end of the episode where we're left off on the cliffhanger?
Yes, they walk into the weird church, and they start to hear a voice of and she makes an appearance, who is apparently Sister.
Yes. And Sister's like, what are you doing here? And she gives this very evil, conniving look. Now, when I first watched, this was like, wait, this is Sister? This is the person they're supposed to bring back to the show? I'm like, why does Sister look evil? And why is she doing this evil act? That was my first opinion when I was first watching this. I was like, did this robot malfunction or something to where she's evil now? But we later find out what happens. But what were your thoughts when you first saw this?
What happened to her? Just did someone reprogram her or something? What happened?
Yeah, I pretty much thought the same exact thing. And we kind of, and this goes on for the other shining stars when we get revealed, like, okay, what did they do after the time Ziggy left, and you could say they all went their separate ways. Well, we get more understandings of that. Some very disturbing, some tragic. I'm just gonna leave that as that.
Yeah, real tragic.
And I can't wait till we get to obviously the Hermit one, because I think we both need to rant about that.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I enjoyed the episode. It definitely, when I first watched it, left me with my like, oh. And thank goodness for Netflix, they upload all the episodes, because if this was, I was watching this week to week, I would be craving for more. Like, I craved so much more for My Dress Up Darling.
Yes. And regretting taking my ring when you had the chance.
Yes, I know. I can't add her to my wife list. But, hey, I got Homura on my wife list. Anyways. Your thoughts on this episode? Like it? Not like it?
Well, that's when I start to see things get dark. But yeah, I like it.
Yeah. We're gonna get out of here because we're going to go play Knockout City and hopefully get our asses kicked probably 60,000 times.
We were slipping that night.
Yeah.
We were slipping.
Yeah. But we're gonna play Knockout City. We're gonna get out of here. If you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's episode of Eden Zero. Again, do not post spoilers to following events of Eden Zero. Now, we know all the episodes and what happens from episode 1 to 24, but anything past that, please do not put in the comment section. Otherwise, your comment will be blocked. Lastly, hit that subscribe button to the channel, as well as not only hit the subscribe button to my channel, but hit the subscribe button to my co-host channel. So, yeah. And hopefully you like what you see on his channel. And yeah. But other than that, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day or night or whenever you check out this video, and stay safe out there, guys. Till then, guys, peace.